Hey,
And
Vinod.
Bill, I'd like to start today with a little bit of a heated topic. You and I have been consistently on, there's not a whole lot of things or balls and strikes with Trump. There's not a lot of things personally that I have agreed with that he's done. Iran has been an exception in bombing Iran. So now I'm going to come out with something that I am now surprisingly very concerned that he's about to screw it up. And I was going to use a stronger word. I probably should, but I think he's going to screw it up. So let me just start off with the reporting is that the United Kingdom is not going to let us bomb our base, take any of our bombers and attack Iran from any of their bases. There's one in the UK that we could use. That's Fairford, I think, the Fairford, UK, and I may be mispronouncing it with my southern accent. But also the Diego Garcia, which is very, very close. And let me tell you, from somebody that did support what he did, bombing Iran for the nuclear facilities, and why I'm against this. I don't think he's got a plan in place. First of all, it's not a host of countries, it's the United States and Israel. And Israel hitting Iran is such a sore topic in the Middle East, it's just going to inflame things. It always does. But how do you achieve regime change, which is what the administration's talking about again? How do you achieve regime change without putting boots on the ground? I don't think you can do it. I've even seen some accounts that I followed on X saying, well, let's let Israelis put boots on the ground there. That won't work. It's shocking that some of these people with the number of followers that they've got would even say something like that. Um, the issue here that people need to remember is that when the United States rolled into Mosul, and I'll just use that as one example, we were greeted with flowers, people cheering, thank you for saving us. 2 months later, they were shooting at us. I don't see how this is going to be any different, especially without troops on the ground. And if you're going to put troops on the ground, this is a whole other discussion. So, what I have seen, and then I'm going to get your opinion, Bill, but what I have seen coming out of the administration are sites that they could bomb from the air. Um, I just it doesn't work because if you start dropping bombs from 40,000, 50,000 feet, okay, not everything's going to hit that target. And even the ones that do, that may be next door to some guy who hates the regime, but you just killed his kids. So you just made somebody that's going to want to come after you. And the last thing I'm going to say about it is why this is so much different than anything else that we've done. This one requires extra, extra, extra planning because, unlike any other country that we've ever done, they do have enriched uranium. Now, it may not be bomb grade, may not be bomb grade. That doesn't stop them from making a dirty bomb. So I can't comprehend what ISIS or Al Qaeda would have been like had they had access to a whole lot of highly enriched uranium. I think what happened on 9/11 would have been infinitely worse. What's your thoughts, Bill?
I tend to be very hawkish. I see Iran as a giant infected wound.
And we agree with that. And
They're
I
the
agree with that.
thorn in the world, and I fully support Trump or any other president taking them out. Absolutely taking them out. I think, the military planners know best. We're sitting in our living rooms, the rest of it. But from what I see and what I've seen, I think a strong wind will blow down Iran, this regime. I think that there is just a police state. Their military is in tatters after what Israel and we did to it, and I think we need to finish the job. That's where I am completely. I also think to your point about Mosul and what happened in Iraq, and that's always a great conversation to have because things always go unexpectedly. The flowers come, and then anything can happen. But in the case of Iran, the country is much less factionalized than in Iraq. It's mostly it's a Persian, it's a single culture. You've got it's mostly Shia that are Islamic or Shia, but it's one group. It's a very young population. It's about 70% under the age of
Mhm.
50. I think they're ready for it, which is not to say the wise head always says, careful, careful, careful. I am not for nation building there. I'm for knocking out everything they've got. And then if they rebuild it, knock it out again. And if they rebuild it, knock it out again until this regime's gone. I don't think we need to put boots on the ground. I don't think we need to be such the good guys that we put boots on the ground. I think they've caused enough damage in the world and the regime. If they pop their head up, hit them. If they pop it up, hit them again. I'm really aggressive on that regime. I think the region would be relieved. I think a lot of people privately within the region, Muslim countries would be relieved. They'd love to see that thorn pulled.
And so a lot of that you and I do agree with. But they're a bad actor. I think we can count up probably the worst actor in the Middle East. Certainly for Israel, I can't think of anybody that has directly or indirectly caused more deaths than Iran.
And they no longer have Syria. The Russian thing has collapsed. They've Hezbollah's weakened. Hamas, you know what I mean? They are just they're just poisonous. It's a poisonous regime.
It is.
And they just used proxies for decades to just stir up discontent and tumult around the world. And their time is here. God bless our troops, our airmen or airwomen, all of them. If we decide to pull the trigger, I hope it goes, with Godspeed and goes well, obviously.
Yeah. I see your point. And again, I'm not disagreeing with who they are. I'm disagreeing with the approach of it because
of course, exactly.
The only thing worse than them turning into a North Korea, and that would be terrible. And that's a possibility is them turning into an Al-Qaeda or an ISIS with a factional group in there that has highly enriched uranium. Because if that hits a U.S. city, it's not going to kill people immediately as a nuclear weapon. But folks, you're not going back into that city for a long time, and it'll kill a lot of people.
I mean, they're very well organized, or they have the reputation of being very well organized with Hezbollah in the U.S. Mm-hmm. There's, a lot of the Hezbollah cells in the U.S. have survived running illegal tobacco from the South to Michigan, North Carolina to Michigan to avoid the taxes. That's how they make money. They've got all these scams, but there have been times already where they should have been turned on. When we killed one of their leading generals that President Trump did a few years ago. There were other ways where they put a reward on the president's head. That's out there, but where are those? Like, if they're going to do it, they probably would have done it.
Hasn't happened yet. Yeah,
it hasn't. I'm not saying they don't. Someone doesn't blow up somebody and kill people that are completely innocent, like the Iranians seem to love to do. But it's time. They're never going to be weaker. They're never going to be weaker.
I agree with that part. I agree with that
it's just a common sense. Take them while they're out. You know what I mean?
So I'm curious, for those of you that are watching this, what do you think? Bill and I agree on many aspects of it. I completely disagree with their approach that they're taking. But he makes a lot of good points too. They're never going to be weaker than right now.